Hello, everyone, and good morning. It's about 10 in the morning in New England. Carl McIntosh, my good friend from South Carolina, is here with me today. We're in the same time zone, which is nice for the touch knot once in a while. How you doing today, Carl?
Doing well, Ray. Thank you.
Good to hear it. Carl's a former president of the Clan McIntosh of North America, as is the touch knot myself. We're here to talk about Carl's years at the tents for McIntosh and as the president of the organization and what went on during that time and the great friends and acquaintances we all made. Yeah, but I think I
Um,
I think I first met you at Loon Mountain, Carl, at about '07, I believe.
okay, that
Right
sounds
around.
about right.
Yep, you were up there, president at the time you were. I think Larry Young had just finished presidency. I believe that's the time frame Carl and I met up at
Yeah,
Loon Mountain in New Hampshire. Um,
right. I was trying to think back, Ray, to the first time I ever convened a tent, and I think it was at the Waxhaw Highland Games in Waxhaw, North Carolina. You
okay,
know, that's where Andrew Jackson was supposedly born, somewhere in that part of the world.
is that right?
The Waxhaws were one of the Indian tribes, but anyway, that was the first time I convened by myself. But even then, you know, Morris McIntosh and I had a good relationship, still do, but he he would help me and I would help him.
Hmm.
And so I believe that first time he let me borrow some of his stuff, and we convened at Waxhaw. That was my first, and I guess that would have been. I was trying to remember the dates, and I get kind of foggy on dates, but it was probably around 1990, maybe sometime there.
Yep.
Uh, anyway, then at some point in time, and again, I don't remember dates.
Okay.
I became secretary of Clan Mackintosh North America
Oh.
when Larry was the president,
Hmm.
and I guess I took over from Margaret, who had been secretary for a while.
Probably, yes.
Uh, and Yeah, and so I remember the first. Um, Larry was really determined to get us back to having annual meetings, and so he decided that we would do an annual meeting at in Erie, Pennsylvania. I believe it was Erie,
Really?
and there were some games there. And do you remember the fellow who used to do the website? He was the convener there,
Sure. Damon.
and I'm sorry,
Damon? Damon
Damon.
Terrell.
Yeah, Damon.
Yes.
And so he hosted us up there, and
Oh, good.
uh, I think uh, I think Rob was there, and Margaret and George McIntosh were there, and
Oh, lovely.
Damon, of course, and myself. I flew
Yes.
up there and uh, took the minutes as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
And then I guess not too long after that, we had an annual meeting in Charlotte.
Hmm.
I think I'm foggy on my memory's not that great, but and Larry was still the president, and he continued to be the president for a number of years. And then at some point in time, I became the president.
Hmm.
I followed. I was right after Larry,
Yes.
and that was when we decided that we would have the AGM up there at Loon
Hmm.
at some point. We had had I had an annual meeting, and I don't remember if this was me or I guess it was me out in Texas, and the only
Really?
people that were at the meeting were me and George and Margaret. Uh,
Wow.
we had everything set up. The convener down there, I don't remember his name now. The convener got sick, and
Oh,
so I ended up actually handling the tent down there in Texas, which I had not expected to have to do. But you do what you have to do, you know. And
indeed.
it was a nice games,
Yeah.
but went down there and had a good time, and we had a semblance of an annual meeting. And then I think maybe the year after that, we had one in Charlotte,
Hmm.
and I get them mixed up, but the one in Charlotte was very well attended. Uh, Chinubby was there, and Bob McIntosh, who's the chairman of the board up there at Rural Hill. We had our we had our dinner at his. He had a restaurant at the time underneath his law firm, and
Hmm.
so we met there and had a nice dinner and good meeting. And it's really great to have Chinubby there with us. That was
Right.
probably the biggest one that I've seen before or since. We probably had, oh, I don't know, that night at that meeting we may have had as many as 20 people, which
Great.
was good.
Sure.
So anyway, that's kind of my story when it comes to being the president, I guess.
Hmm.
At some point in time, I stepped aside, and I guess Rob was the president after me, wasn't he? And then you.
Yes, I believe you had two terms, but I'm not certain. Um, I
Oh,
believe
I,
we, I
I had
believe
at
we asked
least
you to
two.
stay on for the second one.
Yeah,
I
I,
think
I
I
may have
remember
done
that.
three. Yeah,
Oh, it could have been.
but but anyway, I enjoyed it. I tried to move things along as best I could. I think we tried to do some bylaws revisions and whatnot.
Yep.
Uh, but the main thing is, I guess, uh, really thanks to Larry, he sort of got us moving again in the right direction. And since then, I think we've been pretty steady. Um, Certainly, you as president, Rob McIntosh as president. Those years have all been pretty decent, I think.
Hmm.
And now Mikan I think she's a good president and doing a really good job as far as I can tell.
Good.
And we'll see we'll see how things go as we move forward.
Yes, and the vice president right now, Dan Durant. I just saw him and his wife Ashley Durant at the games at Connecticut about a week ago.
Yeah.
So that was great to see them.
Do you know the new the new counselor of Clanhattan? Isn't it Joshua McIntosh? Do you know
Yes, I do
him?
know. Yes, good friend of mine here.
He's
Yeah.
he's from the New England area, right?
Yes, he's two towns from me here. He's a great friend of mine now for years and years.
That's great. Well, I was really glad to see him, and I believe if I understood correctly, if the elections sometimes the Clanhattan thing is interesting, but
Yes,
and Rob is still on the council, isn't he?
he is.
Or did he step? Yeah,
No,
he
he's
is. I
still
thought he
standing.
was.
He's
Yeah,
still standing on the council. And Joshua was just
yeah.
installed
Okay.
this year. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw a thing on Facebook where he picked up a stone that was, that little soldier out by the my point. He picked up that stone.
Yeah, next
He
to
must be pretty strong.
that little knight statue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, next to
I
the
thought that was
museum, he
kind of
picked it
neat.
up.
I haven't met Joshua, but anyway, uh, so um, that's. I guess I don't know what else I don't know what else I could tell you about Clan McIntosh, North America. Other than that, it was always. It took me, I guess, a couple of times going to Scotland to understand that when you're over there really isn't a Clan McIntosh. It's
Ah.
really all Clan Hatton.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, when we had the signing of the Band of Union in 2009, and I went over,
Mm.
uh, John asked me to carry his banner,
Right.
and the one that he asked me to carry was the Mackintosh banner, and he's obviously chief of that, but he also had I forget the fellow's name now, it escapes me, but one of the other gentlemen was asked to carry the Hatton banner
Mm-hmm.
because he has those arms too. I guess that's always confusing.
It is.
I guess because of the Moy of the Mackintosh at Torcastle, all that mess. But
Right.
anyway, we had a great time. One of the things I'll never forget is that the Banner Bears, we had our own bus. They took us different places.
Hmm.
Everything was on buses, and the
Yeah.
Banner Bears we had our own bus, which I thought was kind of cool.
Right.
We, because we had, you had the McPhersons were there, their chief, and uh, Shaw of Tordarek, he
Hmm.
was there. So there were like about four or five chiefs, and so we had our own bus. I'll never forget that. That was fun.
Excellent.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of Clan Mackintosh, I guess, unless you have some other questions.
Well, I know that you have quite a history and quite a following at Grandfather Mountain and Stone Mountain now too. There's a lot of real anchor point things that people like to see Mackintosh at, and I know they've kind of
Yeah.
lapsed out in New England. I'd like to see them come back here. Hopefully that happens. Um, I know what you mean about the translation between here and Scotland, though. I've not been there yet, but right, there's just not a Macintosh one there, and they just don't miss it. Like we're kind of saying, "What are you doing over here?" But it's just how it is. It's a tough translation, really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I think that when, they, uh, Dennis and Denise McIntosh,
yes,
they
O'Donnell.
set up a tent, and maybe Stuart and Louisa help them at the Inverness games.
Yes.
And I think that there again they set up a tent for Clan Hatton,
Hmm.
and of course the McIntoshes obviously are always very prominent anytime there's anything to do with Hatton, obviously. But anyway, um, it is kind of interesting when you go over there.
Right.
But it's fine. I mean, once you sort of get used to it, it doesn't really affect you much. You're still part of Mackintosh, and it just so happens over there that the Hatton, the whole Hatton tradition is just so much stronger. Yeah. So I was going to share with you a little bit about my story about convening.
Yes.
As I said, the first games I think I ever convened were the ones at Waxhaw,
Hmm.
and then it's um, I may have started helping Morris before that, or the year after. He went to the Loch Norman Highland Games the first year, and he was looking for a Mackintosh tent, and there wasn't one there.
Yes.
So he decided that he would take up uh, uh, that sword, and he would convene the Mackintoshes at Loch Norman.
Yes.
And so he has been doing that, or he did do it for a long, long time. I guess 20 years.
Hmm.
Again, I get the mixed up a little bit, but those games started around 1989 or 90
Okay.
because, or sometime in there, they just had their 30th anniversary.
Ah.
So I don't know what I can't keep up with all those years. But anyway, Morris and I worked together there, and then I wanted to mention Steve and Diane Minton.
Hmm. Please.
They were convening at Grandfather, and they always had one tent, and when I started convening, I took it over from them. They decided that they had done enough and that they wanted to retire, and so they sort of handed the torch over to me.
Hmm.
And I guess I don't remember at the time, but I think I probably called Alta Bierman. She was sort of in charge of conveners back then.
Yes.
And again, this would have been in the early 90s, I reckon, sometime in there. And uh, so I became the convener at Grandfather. And again, Morris helped me pretty much every year.
Mm.
We even there there were several years where we would rent a condo or something and
Yes.
stay together. I remember the other people that were always helpful were helping me a lot were Randy and Cavell. They helped me a lot up at Grandfather,
Mm.
and
Absolutely.
we so that's one of the messages I would give to people if is it's good if you have a team. You
Mm.
don't really need to have just one person trying to do everything, you know. I think it's better if you have, as we did, a group really. I was the person in charge of making sure we had the tent space. Uh, I guess the first year I did it, or the second, I don't remember, we decided that we would rent two tents at Grandfather, one on either side. You remember that, I guess, when you were up there.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah,
we
that
had them.
trackway. That trackway goes
Yeah,
between them.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So we wanted to have two tents, and generally what we would do is we'd have the one tent on the inside that would be more for people to sit and watch the games and relax,
Yes.
and refreshments. And then the other side, the outside, that's where we would have all of our materials and our signups. And
Right.
Randy was great at recruiting new members. He was one of the
Wasn't he?
best I've ever seen. He would get them in there in the tent and get them to talking,
Yep.
and and sure enough, we'd get some members. There were one year I think we got like I don't know 20 or something, some crazy number. And then the ploy we would use on them is we
Oh,
would always when a new member joined, we would always have a toast,
of course.
and so we would toast the new member, and we always had a good store of whiskey, and so it was real easy to do,
Yep.
and so that's one of the ways we got a lot of members. I don't know. I don't know how active they are today, but anyway, we were able to get them. Uh,
Yep.
but yeah, we had some really good times, and then uh, the other story I'll never forget this. Uh, when the Mintons would convene and they did a wonderful job. I don't want to be critical of anything. This is just an observation.
Hmm.
They would set the tent up so that there was like a table in the front,
Ah,
and Bill Crump, the first year I did it, Bill Crump came over and he said, Carl, you need to open the tent up so that people can walk in. And
yes.
so we started setting the tables up on the sides so it was easy for people to come in and come into the tent and look around and see things.
Yep.
And I'll always credit Bill for that because he had been a convener. I think he convened at Stone Mountain, a long, long time ago.
Yes.
He didn't, and he may have convened at Grandfather a couple of years. I'm not sure. He probably told me and I've forgotten, but at any rate, uh, um, I'll always thought that was great advice that Bill gave me, and we took it and it really did make a difference. It made it feel more welcoming. People could really walk in and
Yep.
sit. I mean, come in and look at our displays and give us a chance to talk to them and sign the sheet, and hopefully once they came into the tent, usually we could sign them up as a member if
Right.
they had any ties to Mackintosh.
Yes. I
So
took.
those are some of the things that I remember that are uh, always that will always be in my mind about my time convening up there. I guess that was the year that we did all that wasn't it 2009 too, or was that no? It was 2010. It was the year after we had been over to Scotland. That I had been over to Scotland, and then Stuart and Louisa came up there. You remember we stayed together and all that.
Yes, I
Or
stayed with you at the Sugar Mountain
anyway,
house.
and
Sugar Mountain
yeah,
we stayed
yeah,
at.
and so that was the year after uh, the trip over for the the re-signing of the Band of Union.
Yes.
Then in 2012, I think that's when Randy took over. I had been doing it at that point, I suppose, close to, I don't know, maybe 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been up there a lot of years,
Yep.
and Randy was willing and able to take it over. And in the summer of in June of 2012, I had knee replacement surgery,
Ah,
and so I
yes.
wasn't going to be able to do it anyway. And then I did in 2013. I think I went back up there, and in 2014 maybe. But by that time, Randy and Cavell had really taken it over, and were doing a great job, and knew all the knew what they knew how to do it for sure. And I had, and and I had given them all of my stuff, and that's another piece of this for us, at least down here in the Southeast, or at least in North and South Carolina, is we have handed things off to people.
Yes.
So our main conveners now are Sean and Elizabeth. I believe Sean's on the council now,
Yes.
um, of the CMNA, and uh, he now has all of my stuff, and
Okay.
Morris's too. Again, Morris had some nice banners made,
Mm-hmm.
the Clan Mackintosh banners that are in a couple of those pictures I sent to you,
Yes.
one at least, with Fred Shaw. Those were actually Morris had those made, and but it's all share and share alike. So
Of course.
we would just wherever they were going, whoever was going where they could take they could use the banners. So now Sean and Elizabeth are convening at Grandfather principally. I haven't been back to Grandfather because it's I'm getting a little older, and I don't get around quite as well, and it's just so difficult to get up there and get around and all that.
Yeah.
I may try this maybe next summer. I don't know. I might try to get up there and check things out. But I haven't been up there in a number of years. And of course, Bill Crump has passed away, and so I don't have that connection to the campground anymore. Although
Oh.
I think I would still be welcomed up there. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I maybe I'll get back up there. But at any rate, the knee replacement. So I remember the year after that, in 2013, it poured rain on Sunday,
Uh-huh.
and I actually slipped and fell, and I'd had that knee replaced,
Oh God.
but I was fine. But anyway, I had some good friends who were part of the medical staff up there,
Uh-huh.
and they came to my rescue and got me situated, and I was fine. It didn't hurt anything, but my pride, I guess,
Right.
messed my kilt up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was raining so hard uh, that Sunday that we couldn't. There was no way we could do the parade of tartans. So
Ay.
we basically just broke down the tent and headed home.
What a shame.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can come in
So
quick up there, nail you, can it?
yeah. So so those are the kinds of things that I would say to people who might be interested in convening. Is it's better if you have a team. I think better than just one person. Uh, and it's certainly worked well for Morris and I through over the years.
Yes.
Again, I would help him at Loch Norman, and he would help me at Grandfather. And of course, and Randy and Cavell were at both Loch Norman and Grandfather, and now Sean and Elizabeth they do Grandfather. They're doing Scotland County games, which
Oh, good.
they had them just a couple of weeks ago, and I guess they're going
Yes.
strong. There was a university there in Laurinburg, St. Andrews University, in fact, and it closed.
Oh, did it?
They, yeah, and there was a Scottish Heritage Center there that was run by Bill Caudle. Bill's a real good piper,
Mm-hmm.
well-known piper, and he ran the Heritage Center, but he had to close it down too. So, but he was able to have the games, and as far as I could tell, it looked like they were pretty well attended,
Good.
successful at least. So I assume he'll keep doing that. Um, so Sean and Elizabeth do those. I'm not, and I think they used to do some in Winston-Salem, but I think the games in
Sure.
Winston-Salem have gone on a hiatus too, and
Okay.
so that really just leaves Scotland County and Grandfather
Okay.
that are two. Now there's a an indoor celebration up in Asheville, North Carolina, and I haven't been
Really?
to it yet. Maybe
Huh.
this year I'll get to go up there, but they do theirs at the Western North Carolina Farmers Market, and
Oh,
it's all inside,
nice.
which I'd
Yeah.
love to see. It must be interesting.
Yes.
You wouldn't have to worry about rain and stuff, you know.
Right. Yeah. Carl, one of the things I try to assure people of that are a little bit hesitant to get in on convening and things is you don't need to you don't need to be able to recite the Klan history chapter and verse. That's one of the things that people are a little bit afraid of. You don't have to be a history expert. It'll come with time, things in that. People are not walking in there asking you to tell them the entire history out of a book from your head. The main thing to get going on at first is just the setup and the tent and the vehicle and getting there and um, all that sort of arrangement. Don't be afraid of the history part of it, my friends. Everyone's a family here and everyone's smiling. Everyone's there with a handshake. That's a big part of it too. A handshake comes out when they come into your tent, and then after that, it'll be easy. That smooths it all over, I believe.
I think you're right about that. All right, I would agree. I don't even know the history now. I don't think
There you go.
I probably know more than some, but I agree with you. I don't think you need to worry about that. I just like you said, just about being uh, friends and family coming together. And then if people want to talk about um, the history and all that, you can certainly do that. But I don't think it's critical at all. I agree with you.
Right.
Now, how many games are you convening these days?
Oh, geez. Right about six, I believe six.
6?
Yeah, it
Wow.
varies between 5 and 7, but right in there. But they're pretty
Yeah.
close to me. New England is small compared to your states, most of it.
Yeah.
Um, Few of them I can do within one day, within no overnight from the house, and other ones, take
Yeah.
a motel or two.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, in South Carolina, we have this event called Tartan Day South,
mhm.
and Mike and his, she convened there this year and last year. She does a great job. I'm not able to do that anymore. I did it. Well, actually, another couple I should mention are Ed and Sigrid Judas.
Yes.
You know, you met them, I think, maybe somewhere.
Yeah, I certainly
Probably
know of them, if
grandfather.
not. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Ed, of course, passed away a few years ago, and
Yes.
Sigrid didn't want to convene, and they were doing a lot of the games that Sean and Elizabeth are doing now.
Hmm.
One of the ones that I forgot to mention were the Greenville games. That they're pretty substantial. One of the things that it's always on Memorial Day weekend, and usually I think almost every year they've had a small group of Scottish soldiers, some from the Royal Regiment, to come over and be a part of their festivities, which is pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
And Mikan is actually doing those now. She's gotten really involved with the Scottish American Military Society, which I was also involved in.
Yes.
Um, but Ed and Sigrid used to do those games in Greenville, and then I might have done them one year, but I'm not sure. And then I shouldn't forget our friend Lachlan Hyatt.
Of
Lachlan,
course.
he was doing yeah, he was doing some games, and those were one of the ones that he did was Greenville.
Yeah.
He's still active, somewhat active in Sam's. but he and Mary have both had some pretty serious health issues, and
Oh, sorry to hear
uh,
that.
yeah, and so
He's a wonderful guy.
was
His
at
wife as well. Hello, my friends. Touchknot here out in the Catmobile. Um, Sorry about this, but Carl and I lost our internet connection. We only had about 3 minutes left to talk at any rate. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and Carl did as well, reminiscing through the years with Clan Mackintosh North America. Thank you so much for following along, and please subscribe to the Touchknot channel. And look at Clan Mackintosh North America at CMNA.org. There's an excellent website and Facebook as well called Clan Mackintosh North America. Have a nice day, my friends. Touch not.